Hey guys, my name is Joey Thomas, entrepreneur and small business educator here with 17 Hats. Now, I know in business that as we go through the daily grind, as we wake up in the morning and we have our giant to-do list, and day after day after day, we do the same thing. And before you know it, days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and months into years. So things start to feel a little stagnant. You haven't made the progress that you're hoping that you could have made or should have made, and you're feeling a little restless. Now, we all go through that. In today's video, I want to go over 6 simple steps to recharge your small business. And we're going to do this in 2 parts. The first 3 steps here in part 1, and then look out for the second video for part 2. So let's jump right into this. The first step, guys, it's so simple that we can all do it today, right? First step is to declutter. Does that really sound like something we need to do in business? So, it's the easiest thing to do, but sometimes it's the very thing we need to kickstart our day and our creative thinking. See, disorganization and clutter is definitely a mojo killer, right? And I'm going to tell you that it is proven that decluttering increases productivity and a peace of mind. And you know what? It's going to give you more confidence when a client comes into the door or when you have to do those Zoom meetings. It's really important to have your space that you can see around you and done in a very organized manner. Now, so when you sit down to work, if all you can see is a mess piling up in your peripheral vision, it can start distracting you, and honestly, it's gonna bum you out a little bit. And I know that's the case for me, and that's where this is coming from. So my suggestion is to simply start with your work area, where you sit down to work, right? And you don't look at the whole room or the whole office or the whole house, whatever it might be. Just start with the area that you work and the areas and the spaces that you can see out of the corner of your eye, because it is a distraction. Now, many of us are absolutely guilty of putting too many things on our desks. So I like to remove everything except my computer and a simple notepad while placing all non-essential items in drawers or off to the side. So that's where I start. I remove everything out of my space first with a clean slate, and that helps you think a little bit easier, right? So now, I want you to only add back to your desk space if you find yourself needing it often. Even when adding items to drawers, you want to think about how you organize that, right? Use the top drawers for frequently used items and larger drawers to kind of tuck things away for a little longer. Now, a few other tips to really think about is to organize those cables that are running everywhere. If you have sticky notes everywhere, think about digitizing them. There's a lot of great apps where you can take pictures and it converts those into searchable PDFs. Also, take pictures of the space once you feel like you've decluttered, because I promise you, when you look in a picture, you're gonna start to see things that you didn't even see with your own eyes. You will be surprised. So this is so easy. This is something we can all do. This is something that it's absolutely essential for your peace of mind. Is a simple step, and it's to declutter. Okay, now let's dive in a little deeper. Step number 2, organize your calendar. What do I mean by that? Now, for many of us, just having a calendar is amazing, right? Just putting things on a calendar instead of writing it down on a piece of paper is awesome. So I will say that I use the calendar functions in 17 Hats often. I couldn't really function without it. So, but you want it organized, right? And so this is a simple organizational tip that I've used that helps me immensely. So I use Google Calendars personally. And because there's just a lot of versatility to creating multiple calendars, I use Google Calendars. And I've created several calendars and I've color coded them so I can see at a glance. I love to just look at an image of what my day looks like, and I can see based on the colors how many meetings I might have, how much family events I might have, right? Or what's on my to-do list. So color coding your calendars and creating separate calendars for separate things will be important. For example, I have a family calendar, what I do with my kids. And those are things that go on the calendar that are scheduled in, right? And also I have the all important booked calendar. Now in my booked calendar, I don't want to call it a catch-all, but it does include my, say, meetings with coaching students. It includes meetings with clients. It includes events that I have to be at. Anything business related where it's booked for a specific time slot. That is also on my calendar. And I've color coded that green because I know I want to see that that's the most important thing. That's the thing that I need to do and I cannot miss, right? So I have a booked calendar, a family calendar, and I also have a leads calendar. Now the leads calendar is actually the calendar that I use when I get new leads, and it puts it on my Google Calendar with the date that they chose that they want their service to be. And so it actually places it there as a placeholder. So at a glance, I can see what leads I might have for certain dates, right? For certain purposes. But I also have what I really just started doing not too long ago was a to-do calendar. Now the to-do calendar, I don't actually put specific time frames in there. I just click the all day button in Google and it just shows me a list of things I have to do. Now the reason I don't put times is because a lot of my to-dos it's general and I just have to get it done that day. And so when I use the 17 Hats scheduling function, right, the scheduling tool on the platform, I cross-reference my family calendar and my booked calendar to figure out where I have spots available. But I don't cross-reference the leads calendar or the to-do calendar because the to-do calendar, like I said, are just items I need to get done, but not necessarily at a specific time. Now, organizing your calendar this way makes it extremely easy, again, when you set up your online scheduling platform. Because if you set it up like this and you have it all separated, it's easier to cross-check certain parts of your day and not all of your day. So I highly, highly recommend doing this, because if we can do this at any time of the year, if you don't have it set up this way, try it out. Use some color coding. And if you have a scheduling tool, it will help you when you start organizing and separating your calendar. For me, it's a huge peace of mind, and I get to look at a glance and figure out exactly what my day holds. So that was number 2, organize your calendar. And for the last tip for this video, we are going to brainstorm your goals. Now, I didn't just say set your goals or create goals or write down your goals. It starts with brainstorming. We know that goal setting it's vital. It's vital. It's the lifeblood of what we do. Without goals, without a vision, without knowing where we're going, the pathway we're going to take, we're going to fail as a business, guys. So you want goals. You want goals that are measurable. You want goals that you can test, right, and see if it's working for you. You want very, very specific goals, and you want some general goals. But it starts with the brainstorming. Now, I admit it can be kind of hard to figure out what type of goals I need. And so before I start writing those down, it's always helped me to do a little simple brainstorming and to organize my thoughts. There's a few different ways you can do that. So one, if you're in a position where you have a million ideas, thoughts, dreams, desires that are whirling around in your head, it may be best to just do a brain dump. What does that mean? So there's no need to organize here. Just start writing down thoughts as they come, things you desire, things you see in your head. Just write it all down. Now, the process of writing them is really important. When you see them written, your brain actually begins to process that writing or as you type these thoughts, and it will begin to connect the dots. It's the very first step that's needed to start mentally organizing what you want, what you desire, and maybe even things that are out of reach. Now, some of these ideas will stand out and some will end up getting thrown out, but this is where you allow yourself to think freely. Now, if the brain dump is a little too disorganized for you, and you are a highly organized analytical list person, so I would recommend that you actually create a list, but break it up into columns, right? You can create list and columns. Now, 4 columns that I recommend are financial goals, personal skill set or growth goals, and scaling goals, right? Growth and scaling for your business, and community impact goals. Now, financial goals, skill set goals, that's your own skills, growth and scaling, that's how you're going to grow your business over time, and community impact, how do you want your business to affect the community? Now, those are just some ideas, but that is a list that I currently have. And so when you begin to actually do your brain dump, but split it into these columns, you're going to now make the connection between how one item in one column may relate to another. Take out your colored pencils or your highlighters and start making connections. You're going to see what goes with what, and that's the beginning of another great way to start your goals. Now, the last method I want to talk about, it actually has a name. It's called starbursting. Starbursting is where you simply ask questions to yourself and then you brainstorm the answer. For example, I could ask myself this question and write it down. How many team members will I need to serve 100 clients per year? So if I write that question down, it's going to start the wheels in my head. I said, okay, I'm going to need this many people to do this part, this to do this part. If I need to serve and turn around in a particular amount of time, I'm going to need to assign this many people. It's going to start a chain of events or a chain of thought in your mind. Well, here's a few more questions. Is there a market for this particular product? How much would my market spend on this particular product? How much money do I need to increase my income? How much revenue do I need to increase my personal income by 20%? So these questions allow us to dive a little deeper. So now that you've done the brainstorming, you can start writing out your specific goals. So guys, today, these are the 3 items that I wanted to talk about. It was declutter, organize your calendar, and brainstorm your goals. So be on the lookout for video number 2 on this topic, part 2 on recharging your business. Thank you guys for hanging out, listening to this video. Hopefully a few of these tips were helpful and you can start implementing it. Till next time, guys, I'll see you again.